Hi there, Stacey here. So I haven't done a video in a long time. I took a bit of a hiatus because we've been going through a major life transition, and I wanted to actually document that life transition because it fits in with the Heilkunst theme. And so as a Heilkunstler, what I do is I help people to follow what we call their objective desire function. And so a person's objective desire function is just a really unromantic way of saying your soul's purpose. So what I do with the remedies is I help to remove disease blockages like self-doubt, chronic people-pleasing, fear, all of those things that stop us from doing what our soul really yearns to do. All right, and so what my soul has really been yearning to do is to buy an acreage and do a bit of farming, live more sustainably, live more in harmony with nature. And so this summer we had an opportunity to do just that. So my husband and I moved to a more resonant community about 3 years ago. And it was our long-term goal to buy some land and live more sustainably. And but in the meantime, when we first moved, we had bought this house that made sense for us at the time. So we bought a big house. It was 3,000 square feet, over 3,000 square feet, so that we could put a suite in it for my grandmother. And my grandmother lived in it with us. And it was also really close to my daughter's school. But since then, circumstances have changed, and then the pandemic hit, and land prices started to go through the roof, and the real estate market went crazy, and people were, there was multiple offers on every single property you looked at, and it was stressful, and I didn't really want to participate in it. So we decided to stop looking for an acreage, and we were just going to renovate our house and stay where we were, even though the house didn't really make sense for us now that my daughter's school had closed, and without grandma the house was way too big for just the three of us. And so we we had just given up the search. And then, but we were still on my real estate agent's list, and so we were still getting listings. And the end of July, this one popped up. And my husband and I thought, we were intrigued. And we thought, we should go take a look at this. So we went and looked at it, and both of us were like, yeah, this is the one. I've got to have it. So we put an offer on the house. There was 11 other offers. We didn't think we'd get it, but lo and behold, we've got it. So that was August long weekend, and then it just started the process of getting our house ready to sell and then moving, and it was literally the most complex move I've ever done, and I think I've done over 40 of them. I had a lot of inherited tuberculosis. If you want to know what inherited tuberculosis is, you can check that out. And so we had this really complicated move, and we are going to live in an RV while we do the renovations to this house, because this house really isn't livable. It's a small acreage. It's 1.67 acres, and then a smaller house. The house is about 1,700 square feet. And the gentleman who owned it, he had built it in the 80s, and it looks like he started to renovate it in the early 2000s, and I think he got too sick or too old or both, and didn't finish the renovations, and then he passed away recently. And so the house is just, there's no drywall on the bedroom walls, and there's not a lot of flooring in the house, and there's it needs to be redone. And we were really excited about that, because when we were looking for acreages, we were looking at properties that were just, the prices were going up and up and up, and it was starting to get to the point where we didn't think we'd even be able to afford to do it. And we were looking at these really expensive acreages that we'd have this huge mortgage, and we'd have to stretch ourselves, and then we'd also want to renovate it. Well, because of the state of disrepair that this house was in, we got a really good price on it, but it's got really good bones. We got a really good price on it, and we'll be able to afford to renovate it, and we have to renovate it in order to live in it. And so I thought it would be fun to document and share this process with you of creating our little humble homestead and living more in touch with nature. And I think a lot of people are feeling called to do that right now. There's a big shift in consciousness going on in the world right now. I don't know if you've noticed, but yeah, there's a big, huge move, and the real estate market here reflects that. Everyone's wanting to get out of the cities, and they're working online now, and they're wanting to have acreages and be more self-sufficient. There was some some floods recently, and the interior of BC is cut off from the coast, and the stores are empty, and so there's disruptions in the supply chain. So I think people are really wanting to live more sustainably, and yeah, so that's our goal as well. And so I thought I would share the process with you. So I hope that you enjoy this whole series on following your soul's purpose and living more in harmony with nature.